Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I don't work here lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled, "You know what you're talking about, so you must work here. You're lying, so let my kid have your knives." I am a cook by trade and have been working in the industry for nearly 10 years now. This happened roughly a year and a half ago, and I would often make grocery run at the local Whole Foods, which is along my way home. I'm by default a helpful sort of guy. I'm often in my black chef's coat with the restaurant logo on the shoulders and name tag on my right breast, sometimes heavily soiled if work was busy, and carrying my knife roll bag on my shoulder, so if people are looking lost at the aisles and they see me, they often ask me for advice. This is usually people asking about gluten-free products, antioxidant crap, and whatnot. I'm more than happy to help. I will note that the cooking staff here work in white coats, rather than black. One day after a day of hard work, I'm at Whole Foods picking out flour for pancakes, as the next day would be my day off. Cake flour for soufflé pancakes if you're that interested. An older gentleman asks me of my opinion on spices, which are absurdly expensive in supermarkets, and I advise him to actually go to a wholesale store to get them cheaper and in bulk rather buy the tiny little bottles of overpriced spices. We got into a discussion about baking and which flours were best for certain items for several minutes, and he left a happy man. Insert the moment we have all been waiting for. ***cast***. M, entitled Mother, fairly nice looking, crap personality. EK, 6-year-old kid who'd rather not be here and spoiled beyond reason. Me, happy to help, not happy to be screeched at by ungrateful people. M, manager. Nice fellow, never saw him again. AM, he's the manager now. EK, hey mister, are you a chef? Me, ha ha, sure I am. EK, what are you going to make? Me, big fluffy pancakes tomorrow. EK, what's that on your back? Me, oh, that's my knife set. I carry it with me because they're very expensive and I don't want anyone to take them when I'm not working. Cue his mother, who had apparently been looking for him. She sees me and her eyes instantly lights up. M, oh excuse me, can you help me? Me, sure, what did you need? M, I'm looking for activated almonds, do you know where I can get them? Me, laughing a little, yeah, but you should know that activated almonds are literally just almonds sitting overnight in water. It doesn't have a special properties. M, really? That sounds like a scam. Me, oh, it really is. M, then do you know where I can find the pickles? Me, should be by the can section, and I point towards the aisle. M, can you show me? Me, okay, sure. I grab my basket with flour, eggs, and whatnot. This honestly should have clued M in. M barrages me with questions about the various pickles on the shelves as I help her get the ones she needed for her sandwiches. Me, while explaining what the different kinds of pickles there were and how to pickle at home, I set my knife bag against the shelf because my shoulder was aching. EK, at this point bored as hell and not at all interested in the advice being vomited by yours as truly, decides to grab my bag in an attempt to inspect it. Me, oh, sorry kid, you can't touch that. I grab a hold of my bag. EK looks shocked that I took it away from him and is making an angry face. M, oh don't worry about him, EK is a careful boy and he won't break anything. Me, that may well be true ma'am, but I'm not risking a child cutting themselves on my knives. M, don't be so selfish, you should be glad my son is taking an interest in your profession. Me, that's great and all, but you should teach your child not to grab strangers' things. Especially if it's full of potentially dangerous tools. M, don't tell me how I should raise my child. Apologize now. Me, I'm not going to apologize for stopping your kid from grabbing my bag of knives. EK, I winna see me. M, oh come on, can't you let him see your knives? Me, I'm sorry ma'am, but these are my personal tools and taking them out in a public setting would be dangerous and unprofessional. M, I'll buy it off of you. Me, what? M, here, this should be enough. Pulls out $50. Me, lady, the chef knife alone cost me well over $250, never mind the bag itself is at least $50. M, you're lying. Me, whatever, I'm not going to argue with you. Good day ma'am. At this point I'm done with this M, but she isn't letting it go, literally. She grabs a hold of my knife bag and demands that I sell it to her. M, you don't deserve these. Hand them over or I'll call your manager. Me, at this time, I believed she was talking about my actual manager at the establishment I worked at. Go ahead, now let go. M makes incoherent screeching noises as I tear my knife bag out of her claws and walks away. About 5 minutes later, I am accosted again by the M who has gotten herself a resigned-looking manager. Being sort of a regular at the Whole Foods, people know me by appearance and the manager sees me and looks surprised. M, there he is. I want that man fired and arrested. Me, what? Arrested for what? M tells the manager some BS about me selling the knives to her before running off with a strangely vague amount of money. Me, lady, I said I'm not going to sell these knives to you. And I don't even work here. M looks at manager. M, he's right, he doesn't work here. He works at the restaurant, points at my shoulder. M makes incoherent, confused noises. M, also, I've got someone to watch the security cameras and... In comes assistant manager. AM, hey, I've looked over the tapes and you're lying. He points at me, was helping you before your kid grabbed his stuff, he warned him off, and you offered him money, but he declined. M, looking at M with raised eyebrow, ma'am, are we going to have a problem here? M makes a noise reminiscent of a strangled cat and apologetically shuffles away. And that's that. I paid for my stuff, went home, and made the fluffiest, softest pancakes known to man the very next day. Then I got a text from my actual manager who was asking about a woman complaining about me specifically and writing bad reviews. Needless to say, that was the last we heard of the woman, for the next few weeks anyway. But that's a different story entirely. Sort of. The next story is titled, Had My First I Don't Work Here Lady Moment. Yesterday I was browsing a box store while waiting for a prescription. I wandered over to the hair color aisle and was looking at the different colors, debating on switching up my hair color. Noticing a woman debating between two colors on a brand I knew that turned out really dark, I recommend she use the lighter of the two colors and told her they ran really dark. She was appreciative as no woman wants a home hair color disaster. Just then an older gentleman tapped me on the shoulder and asked where he could find mousse. I smiled and asked what kind he needed. He had no clue. His wife just said mousse. Okay, no worries. I grabbed him mousse that I use and told him it was a good product and I hoped she would be happy with it. Then he asked about facial wipes. Since I wasn't doing anything besides waiting, I took him over to the cosmetics section and helped him find the facial wipes. At this point my name was called over the speaker to come to pharmacy. I excused myself to go and told him I'm sorry but my prescription is ready. He had a moment of realization I didn't work there and apologized profusely and thanked me so much for my help. He had tears in his eyes. I asked him why he was crying and he said his wife was just diagnosed with cancer and he was out of his element buying lady products. That my kindness to him was so unexpected and how grateful he was. I hugged him and said it's the least I could do, and besides he helped me pass the time waiting for my prescription. Just a story that shows not every customer that makes a mistake is going to be a jerk. He was the sweetest and most polite gentleman and I truly enjoyed helping him even if I didn't work there. The next story is titled, Why Does Your Employee Dress Like a Slut? This story happened when I was still in high school. I was shopping at a clothing store I go to very often. Usually the stores are structured so that they have the women's, men's, and kids' clothes in sections connected by small walkways, but each section is its own separate room. It's really not hard to navigate because there are clear signs everywhere. I like to wander through all the sections, because I often find clothes that will fit me. On this particular day I went after school on a Friday. My school has a uniform that consists of a white or blue polo with a plaid skirt, and is widely recognizable in the area. The skirt was mid-thigh length on me, due to my height. While it wasn't exactly knee length, I wouldn't call it short either as I could safely bend down. I had an armful of clothes that I was going to try on later, and I accidentally knocked some clothes off a rack with a hanger that was sticking out. The decent human thing to do would be to pick up what you dropped, right? Well, I bent down to pick it up when I hear someone huff and storm up behind me. I thought they were angry I was in the way, so I apologized to her and walked off. She wasn't a Karen, she was older lady. She was Karen's mum. I'm going to call her Glenda. Suddenly, Glenda grabs my shoulder and jerks me backwards, making me drop my armful of clothes. Glenda, why were you ignoring me? I've been following you for 8 minutes now. You didn't even acknowledge me. Me, why did you touch me? Do I know you? Glenda, you F***king kids. I do not need to introduce myself to you to get your help. Me, still oblivious but annoyed, I'm sorry, what do you need my help for? Glenda, are you dumb? Are you useless? Why did they hire you? I want to know where the hell blah blah is and I can't find it because of your confusing store layout. Me, I don't work here. You can follow the signs. Glenda, liar. You kids are so lazy. I can see you work here, you have the collared shirt on. At this point I just turn around to walk away. I could hear her screaming after me about managers and how I'm incompetent, but I just wanted to get out of her near vicinity as soon as possible. Unfortunately my plans of escaping were foiled as I needed to pick up my clothes that dear Glenda threw on the ground for no reason. As soon as I bent down, Glenda screams, "Don't do that again, you slut, don't bend down in your little skank skirt. They should fire you for how you dress alone." Unfortunately this isn't a satisfying story where I pressed charges and got Glenda put away for assault. I was 14 and dumb and hated confrontation, so escaping from her was the best I could do. I picked up my clothes and put them away on the fitting room rack and left because I didn't feel like trying anything on anymore. On my way out, I saw Glenda yelling at someone who I presume is the manager and pointing in my general direction. I waved and walked right out. Best believe I'd be much more vindictive if it happened today. The next story is titled, "She started at an 8 then went to 11 real quick." To set the scene, a well-known athletic shoe store is having its annual big sale with 40% off regular priced shoes and an additional 50% off already marked down clearance. My husband works a physical job, has foot problems, and this particular brand of shoes keeps his pain to a minimum. He does go through shoes quickly due to the miles he puts on them, and what he walks through as he does, so we always watch for this sale to stock up. He is also a smaller guy, he is 40 and covered in tattoos, but with a baby face and shorter than me by half a foot. He wears a men's size 7 which is sometimes in the kids section and is sometimes the smallest in the men's section. This year he also got hurt at work, so his dominant arm is in a sling and he is struggling doing simple tasks, such as putting on and tying his shoes, shaving, and such. He is currently sporting about 4 days of unshaven face. It should also be noted that this takes place in winter. About a month ago now, in New England, we are dressed for winter, with me in a large coat with fake fur trim and a winter hat. Our one mistake was sleeping in on a Saturday, and then going to the store, which was an hour drive away. When we got there the place was a disaster. The few employees that weren't on a register were running around wildly trying to help people. All of the outside walls of the store have been stocked with clearance, along with some of the aisles, but there are boxes of shoes all over the floor from people just leaving them behind instead of putting them back. I find one of the seats in a corner to sit my husband in. Due to his height he often gets bumped into by people not paying attention, and with his injury that would cause him a lot of needless pain, additional injury. He hates being effectively babied like this, but, well, he has no choice at the moment. I then enter the fray, pulling as many different pairs of shoes in his size, styles I know he likes as I can find, and then bringing the lot back to him. I then help him try them on as one would by putting them on his feet, helping him tie them, etc. While I help him we talk about where we might go for lunch and our dog's recent behavior, peppered with comments about the shoes. He picks 3 pairs on clearance and I go to put the rest back on the shelves. As I turn around I come face to face with a woman who, along with her female adult companion and their multiple children, have been relishing in making the mess bigger. She is snarling at me and barks up finally, with an exasperated sigh as she plops herself on a seat. Now I need 4 pairs of pink sneakers, in this style. She holds up her foot from clearance, in sizes, lists 4 sizes, women's. Yeah, even finding 1 pair of pink shoes, in any size, was unlikely. This is clearance, the ugly shoes are the ones left. Me, sorry, I don't work here, but I think the ladies section is. Her, bullcrap. I just watched you help that kid over there. To him, where the hell is your mother anyway? Logic check, seriously lady? Even if he was 12 or something he could buy shoes alone. Also, if you really think he is a kid, why isn't your next assumption that I'm his mother? Of course he gets really embarrassed, and, as he tends to be quite shy, looks down and turns red. Me, a bit curtly, yeah, that's my husband, and I go to walk around her. Her, don't you effing lie to me. If he was, why the hell would you be putting his shoes on like that? I look back at my husband and we make a WTF, this lady's nuts face at each other. I roll my eyes, and, at this point I choose to ignore her. Before changing careers I worked retail for 20 plus years, all the way up to store manager. 60 to 70 hours a week dealing with crazy customers sent me back to school, and now I work 9 to 5 in a nice, quiet, cube farm. I am no longer paid to placate people like her. Apparently my ignoring her angers the beast, and as I reach up to put a box on the shelf I am yanked backwards by the neck. She is pulling on the hood attached to my coat. I trip on a box that is on the floor, spin around wide-eyed, and, before I can say a word, she screams in my face. Get me the shoes I want. NOOOW. Suddenly a wild manager appears, drawn by her screaming, and runs up. Manager, hi ladies. Can I help you with anything today? I want this rude idiot fired. She is. Me, I don't work here. I walk back over to my husband, who is now standing and trying to control his anger, and grab the stack of 3 boxes that he has selected off the floor. We go turn walk away, and in an instant she has stormed over and knocked the boxes out of my hands, directly into him and his slinged arm. He screams in pain, clutching his arm, and my attention goes immediately to him. When I look back up, the manager has moved in between the lady and us, and she is yelling about how I'm a liar. The manager is trying to see if my husband is okay, and we are just trying to leave the situation before anything else happens. The manager gives a half smile, helps me pick up the boxes, and we walk towards the lengthy register line. As we wait at the front we can still hear her tirade, and then the most beautiful sight of police officers entering the store appears. The woman is soon after escorted out of the store by the officers. The funny part to us is that her companion and herd of children, from the very start of the confrontation, had pretended not to know her, even though they had been obviously connected before then. They stayed in the store and continued shopping as she was brought out. We did have to make a small statement to the officers, but I don't know what happened to her afterwards, and we didn't press any personal charges. After talking with the cops, the manager did ring out our purchase personally, and scanned an additional discount card. We ended up with 3 pair of shoes for $40. The next story is titled Preteen Pissed Because I Didn't Respond. So I had left work the other day, still in my previous work clothes that just happened to be jeans and a t-shirt, so nothing special, no orange apron, and I decided to stop in the garden center of a Home Depot. I'm just casually looking at the plants outside, moving stuff around to look at what's healthy, and I notice this group of like 13-14-year-old girls walking around. I didn't pay any attention to them and just kept looking. One of them started saying, "Hey," every couple of steps, then she starts snapping too until I realize that she's talking to me. I had already seen them and I knew I didn't know anything about them, and I turned and this skinny little all made up basically child was glaring at me with her hands on her hips. Obviously pissed off and probably having seen a parent act entitled towards customer service before, with 3 more girls behind her. I turned back to the plants and just kind of sigh, I don't work here. I heard someone laugh and they stomped off, but I was just so pissed that someone that young was already acting like an entitled idiot and felt the need to vent it. The next story is titled, You Otter Know I Don't Work Here. We took the kids to the zoo today and walked by the otter exhibit twice. The first time, the otters were back in their den area and we didn't see them. The next time we walked by, the 3 otters were outside. I was so excited to see them, I shouted, "Otters," and rushed over there. The otters were also apparently excited to see me. They started vocalizing more and all 3 ran up to the edge of their area towards me, chattering away. It was really exciting and felt like they were legit happy to see just me. When we were leaving the zoo, an employee asked my kids what animal they liked seeing the most. My kids didn't really respond, so I did, and I told her about the otters. She said she really liked them too, that they were really friendly, and whenever they saw a zoo worker they would rush over begging for food. Looking down, it appears I accidentally dressed like a zoo worker, with khaki pants and a navy shirt. The next story is titled Best Service I've Gotten All Day. After working in retail, there is nothing I hate more than rude customers. I can't stand people most of the time because of it. A little background for this story. I get my tires changed over in the spring at Costco every year. Because I bought my tires there, they give me a good discount. They just started allowing you to book appointments for tire changes online, so you don't have to show up and hope that they have time to change your tires. But by doing this you can't really come in for walk-ins at all, since they're typically all booked for the day. Now to the story. It's a little before 2 p.m., and there is a long line-up for the automotive department. My car's tires are all changed, and I'm just waiting to pick my keys up. There is a middle-aged couple in front of me complaining about the wait. All the typical. What's taking them so long? Why aren't there more people working? Why are they so bad at their jobs? It's not that hard. At one point they even turn around to me, to ask me if it's usually this long of a wait. After listening to them for 10 minutes, it's finally their turn. And guess what, they didn't have an appointment, shocker, and they drove from really far away, so they need to be squeezed in. After the lady at the desk repeatedly told them, "I'm sorry, we can't possibly squeeze you in, we are completely full," the couple yell a few choice words at the woman about how this is terrible customer service, yada yada, before moving along. I grab my keys from the girl, apologize that she had to deal with all of that, and walk out to my car. As I go to unlock my car, I see the annoying couple unloading their cart into their trunk. The couple then decided to just prop their cart up on the grass instead of walking the literally 10 meters to the cart return. Like it took more effort to prop it up on the grass than I would to walk to cart to the return. At this point, I'm so livid. First they cuss out the poor desk girl, then they disrespect the cart people by not walking the short distance to the return. So I walk over to their cart, glare at them, and return their cart, without saying a single word. The couple then proceeds to pull up next to me in their car, and the guy yells out, "Hey, thanks. That's the best service we've gotten all day from you crappy store. You guys really need to work on your customer service." I can't contain myself anymore, so I reply with, "I don't work here, you're just being a complete and utter a-hole. You treated the girl inside like crap, now you're treating the cart return guys like crap because you're too lazy to walk 10 meters. And you're so ignorant you didn't even notice I was the one standing behind you the whole time. You even complained to me. Maybe if you weren't such an entitled ass you'd get better service." The look on his and his wife's face was worth every second of that. Of course he proceeded to tell me to duck off, and I was just some dumb little girl who didn't know what the duck I was talking about. But I just flipped him off and got into my car. I can't yell at those a-hole at work, so it felt amazing to do so as another customer. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.